Hi, it's Roxanne from Projects with All My Heart. Today's video is about the mini rosebuds. So these are the tiniest rosebuds. We've looked at the three larger paper flowers, and these are an assortment from the red paper, the pink paper, as well as the patterned paper with the map and the floral on both sides. So once again, this is very, creates quite a minimal effect because the paper is quite dark, but I did start out by inking all of the petals in vintage photo distress ink. Black or a dark brown like walnut stain would also give you more of a contrast as well, or you could just leave it without inking. And once again, we use the bamboo skewer. These are just minis. And so it takes a bit of a careful finger to roll each of these and hold them, and they're so tiny it's difficult to see exactly what I'm doing here in my hands. But if you can tell from the ones I've just finished, I'm just doing a straight roll under. I'm not turning one side over. It's just a straight roll. And those minis really like to fly. These flowers were punched from a hydrangea paper punch by Martha Stewart, and it punches one of the larger flowers and then two of the smaller ones at the same time. And when I put them on the layout, I just use different combinations of one larger one and one small one, a couple of larger ones, a couple of smaller ones. You have extras in your kit, so feel free to play with as you want. So from my base, I'm just laying in my palm of my hand, and I'm taking the end of my bamboo skewer and just rounding it out in the center. You can see the difference between the one that's rounded and the one that isn't. Now here I'm showing you with the very small one using the blunt end of the skewer, and now I'll show you with the sharp end of the skewer. You have to be a little careful so that the paper doesn't rip, but it does create definitely a difference in the indentations, as you can see. And I'm just going to finish rounding out their centers here. So this will take you a bit of time because you'll be doing this technique with the dark red paper, the pink paper, as well as that very light flowery map paper. I'm just adding a bit of the glossy accents. Again, you don't need to use glossy accents. Any clear drying, fast drying glue will work. And here I'm just layering the two larger ones together and just sort of offsetting them. This is a little bit tricky, so be patient. And I'm just pressing it down firmly with the bamboo skewer. It seems to really do the trick. And now I'll add one of the smaller flowers. And I'll add a second smaller flower. And I'm going to go in for a third smaller flower. And this one will be a little bit simpler. I'm just going to use the larger flower as the base and then add just the two minis over top. So I had an assortment of these roses from the various papers on the layout. If you'd watched the previous video on the mini roses, where I had actually used the Tattered Florals mini rose die cut to create a little rosebud, you can sort of create a similar rosebud with these hydrangea petals. It's a little bit trickier, but the same Same thing, you would curl up the ends just straight like you did here, and then do the opposite of how when I push the bamboo skewer into the paper to make the dip, do it on the other side, just like we did for the mini roses. But I would recommend you only attempt that if you found the other one fairly easy to handle, because this is quite a bit more complicated and finicky due to the size of the petals. But here that bamboo skewer is really handy again, just as I'm lifting some of the petals up. And again, I'd recommend you doing this step when everything's dry. And there's the mini rose from the previous video. It's actually a great shot of it. And you can also go in and add more ink after you've everything's completed and they've also dried. Again, the vintage photo, it does give a bit of, it's difficult to see in the video, but it does give a bit of a texture to it. But it may not be something that you really desire, and they'll look fine just left on their own. If you really want to jazz it up, you could add just a touch of the Perfect Pearls on dry, just to give it a little bit of a shimmer. Or even just put the Biscotti Perfect Pearls into a spray bottle and add a bit of water. All you need is just 1 scoop. Just take that same bamboo skewer or the end of your paintbrush and just dip it into the Perfect Pearls and mix it into the Mini Mister water bottle, and you've got your own pearl mist. Here's that punch and what it looks like and how it creates. And so you've got the pink ones. I had a different pink here. And there's the floral ones as well. And here's the layout coming up. And I'll pan up. So we've got our rolled roses. There's the rosebud. And then the assortment of the other roses. And some I just left as single with the mini. And here at the top of the bird cage with the pattern paper, this is where I attempted to make the rosebud. It was very tricky. Thanks for watching.